Hi everyone, Jill Lancet, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Australia. And I'm going to be using a really lovely, I think it's really lovely, it's got an Asian influence to it, stamp set called the Crane of Fortune. The flowers on it are beautiful, they're like a chrysanthemum. This crane here is absolutely beautiful, and we're going to be more focusing on the designer series paper that goes with this set of stamps, but we are going to be using this little stamp here, sending 1,000 well wishes. But before we get started on that, just a few little things I wanted to bring to your attention. My online store, this is the address here, and this is the current host code for February. And the other piece of exciting news is that Celebration has been extended to the 16th of March. And that also includes the joining offer that was coincided with Celebration. And that was that if you join during Celebration, you pay $169, you get $235 worth of products included in that, but they added 2 free stamp sets. Now those stamp sets can come from the annual catalogue or from the mini January to July catalogue that's currently running at the same time as Celebration, but Celebration will end on the 16th of March. So that's out of the way. You have my address here, you have the host code there. Let's get into the details of this card now. I made this the other day. We had a class. Hello ladies. You're probably going, oh, that's the card we made the other day. Yes, it is. But I'm changing it up just slightly, just using a few different things. But this is the beautiful paper, and it's got these lovely gold accents on it. As with all of our papers, they're double-sided. So we're going to be using a couple of different sides to the paper. And I have all the measurements and all the details here, but I haven't actually created the updated version of this card, so we'll compare those at the end. So we need a smoky slate card base, and this has been cut half an A4, so I've cut it at 10.5, and it will be scored at 14.85, and I'll just show you what that measurement is. Now if you've got the trimmer, this light blue blade here is a scoring blade, this is your cutting blade. Pop that down out of the way, we don't want to cut that. We want to go to 14, there's 14.8, smidge over, fold that down, and just give that a good crease. And you fold towards the raised side. You fold it like that, give that a nice crisp burnish with your bone folder. And there's our card base. It's a tent fold. That's why the measurements sound different. It's going to be a tent fold, so it will stand up like that. And that is in the smoky slate. All of our card stocks, the colour card stocks, are on page 122 in the annual catalogue. We're also using a piece of basic white, and the measurements for that are 9 by 13.3 centimetres. Again, that's on page 23, which is the opposite page to 122 in the basics. You also need a scrap of the basic white, and we're going to use this fabulous what's it called? Symbols of Fortune designer series paper. It's beautiful paper. Okay, we're going to use, as I said, one of the stamps out of the set here. We're only using this one here. We will get into these later on in other videos, but today we're just using this one here. We're going to use some of the gold metallic specialty paper. Now, it's brushed. I'm not sure whether you can actually see that finish on there, but it's really, really lovely. It's on page 135 of the annual catalogue. The paper and the stamp set are in the new mini catalogue. On page 23. Sorry, this is my afternoon now and I'm probably due for nana nap. So this beautiful range of papers here, and they're so gorgeous, and there is the stamp set. It also has a die that you can bundle or you can buy them as a suite, which has its own separate item number. The bundle, which gives you 10% off, it has its own separate item number as well. So that's what we're using there today. So I have everything ready to a certain extent. We are going to do a little bit of stamping. We're also going to use the mini stamp and cut and emboss machine. I'm going to change that. I'm going to call it Bertha or something because I cannot get my mouth around that, I'm afraid. I'm sorry about that. We've also got some of this beautiful sheer kind of organza ribbon, which is in the Evening Evergreen, which is a dark green. And that one is on page... and this was hard to find. I bought them last year, and this was really hard to find because when I bought them as a demonstrator, I was allowed to get them early, and they came in a set with all the 5 colours, but they're now sold separately. And I never ever noticed that because it's in the palest of the pale papaya. I never actually noticed it before, but we're using that ribbon there, and it's called the Open Weave ribbon, and the Evening Evergreen one is the top one there. That's the item number there. So let's get started. So our card base has been scored and folded in half, so it makes a card 10.5 centimetres by 14.85. And that's that one there. You just saw me score that, so we'll pop that away for another day. We have our white piece, which is 9.9 by 13.3 centimetres. I'm just repeating myself now, I'm sure. And we have these 3 pieces, and I've cut those. Now, initially this was, I wanted to case a card from the actual mini catalogue. And when I looked it up, there were no measurements. This one here. So I had to work out the measurements myself. So I have actually got them, and if you want to, you can jot them down as we go along, and it'll give you basically a similar looking card than that. So the first piece is 3.7 centimetres by 12.8. Now, all 3 of these pieces are going to be 12 by 8 in that direction. But they go down by 3.7, oh, start at this one, 1.7 centimetres, 2.7 centimetres, and 3.7 centimetres. Now, as I said, they're double-sided, and you can choose which side you want to use, but I wanted to pick up the gold on these two and just have that one in there. Of course, you could change it around, but that's the way I'm using it today. So I'll leave that there. Hopefully you can see that somewhere. It will be, you can take a screenshot of that if you like. I've already cut this out. Oh gosh, if I can pick it up. I already cut this out, and I used the Stitched So Sweetly dies. And they're a really, really handy set of dies to have. They make labels, basically, is what I'm going to call them. And they're on page 166 in the catalogue, the annual catalogue. And I'll just show you the dies that come in with that set. There they are at the top there. So these are graduating rectangles that have got like a scalloped edge and a stitched inner edge. And these are what I'm calling labels. And they also provide a stitched edge. But they will all fit one in the other. But I've used a different die from a different set. I've used, for the label, I'm going to use this one, and it comes from the painted painted labels, and it's on page 164 in the annual catalogue. So I've used that one there, and I'm going to pop it inside the other one just to change it up a bit. So they're the items I'm using today, and we're going to embellish because this paper here had a little butterfly on it. I thought I'd use the brushed brass butterflies, and that is very hard to say, but they're gorgeous. So you get them in two sizes. They're in the mini catalogue, and they're on page 87. But they're beautiful, so we'll see how we go with those. So the first thing I want to do is, I have all these pieces cut and ready to go. We'll just pop them to the side because I'm going to stamp the sentiment, and then we're going to cut it with the other die. And I have it already set up here. Now, my last video was using the little robots, and this is the beauty of the Stamparatus. I can turn that around, stamp that side, and then turn it around and stamp another one. So I had it already set up in preparation for today as well, for this video as well. So you can see I've got my little piece, my little scrap of basic white, and I've moved it right over here, and I've secured it with a piece of washi tape, and I'm going to ink that up with the Evening Evergreen ink. And the good thing about this is, the Stamparatus, is that if it doesn't come out perfect the first time, you just can keep stamping it again and again. Now I've popped the magnet on there just to give it some extra security. And I'm just going to ink the stamp up. I'm not sure if you can see that. You should be able to. And just pop that down there. And if it doesn't come out perfect, again, I can just re-ink that up again and go again. But yeah, just give it a couple of seconds to make sure the ink actually gets onto the paper. And I quite like that. That's perfect, if you ask me. Simply chamois, just clean my stamp, and it's only got water on it. Easy peasy, done. Good for the environment, good for your hands. And we'll just carefully take that off there. And that's our stamping done. Okay, so now I'm going to use the little mini Bertha, because I can't remember how to say that for some reason or other. And I'm just lining that up. Now, this is the great thing about this. This is why I like to stamp them first and then cut them out, because, yeah, I can move the die around to be straight. And it's not going to be much of an issue. So I want to try and get that as straight as I can. That looks pretty good to me. And this is just removable tape, because now I've got to get my machine up, and it could move around in the meantime. So this is our little, this is Bertha, okay? She's now named Bertha. That's it. And it fits on the desk. It's really, really easy. Handle is very easy to use. These two things pop open, so when I fold that up, it doesn't take up as much room as when it's open. So we need these 3 plates. We need 1 and 2 of the number 2 plates. One I always keep as a cutting plate. The other one I try to keep not cut up, but there are marks on it from the dies, so I always try to just keep one clean, so to speak, without any cutting marks on it. So just pop that in there, put our little plate on top of it, and it goes through. It's a bit hard when you've got paper underneath because it's a bit wibbly wobbly, and that's it. That's as simple as it is. Now we can pop that out of the way. My precious desk space. I'll probably move that out of focus now, but hopefully not too much. And there it is. And this particular die gives you that beautiful little border on the inside. So it actually cuts that in. It doesn't cut it, it just makes an impression. So that just makes that little bit more special. So we'll pop these away. And now we can start assembling this card. So the first thing is to glue these panels onto this white panel. And I think the best way is to use some liquid glue, only because you get a little bit of slippage time. Usually I say wiggle room, but you know, I'm changing it up. So a little bit of glue. And when you're doing things like this, 3 panels, it's always best to do the 2 on either end and then centre that middle one up between the 2 of them. So we have a bit of a border. It's not a big border. So once you get that first one down and you establish what the border is going to be, put your second, the smallest one on, put it up the other end, make sure the border is the same. And if there's a pattern, like obviously, if there's a direction for the pattern, make sure you got it going in the right direction. This particular one, it doesn't matter. This one it does because it's like tree branches, but normally just check that. And I'll do the second one here. And I'm just eyeballing that border just to see that it's about the same. There we go. And then the third one I've left as the coloured panel in the middle, because I just thought it just sort of changed it up a bit. So now that we've got those 2 end pieces down, we can adjust the border for the one in the middle. So by that I mean, if you haven't cut them at the right width, you can adjust that simply by moving it one way or the other. Okay. So that looks pretty good to me. Okay. Now, these two pieces are going to go on here, obviously. But I just thought I'd do something different with the ribbon. So I've just got this little, I got it in the $2 shop. It's just a little single hole punch. And what I normally like to do is actually mark that with a pencil first, because, yeah, I never get anything really, really straight. So I think about there. Does that look about straight? Maybe up a bit higher. And then the same on there. I'm keeping it in line with this line here. That looks okay. So, and sometimes you can just, when you've actually got the punch in place, you can see if you've got the same distance either side. That looks all right to me. And on the other side. Looks pretty good. And I'm just going to thread. Now, I don't know whether I want to do it that way or that way. I think I want to do it this way. So we have it poking out a bit either side. Or just have a look. Or as we used to say, put and look. So before you glue it, just put it and look. So do I want it that way? Or do I want... Yes, well, you're not going to see it the other way, are you? That's how it's going to go. Okay, so we've got that there now. I think we'll glue this on. Yep, and then we'll glue this on and then we'll pop that up. Yep, see, you can tell this is so planned out, can't you? So just some glue, and just above, we're going to do it in more like in the top half of it. Just make sure that's straight. There we go. That looks pretty good. Yep, that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to use, where is it? My Stamp & Seal Plus. I'm just going to put some on the back here just to collect that piece of ribbon. And secure it to the back. So we're just going to put it around like that. And pop this up onto dimensionals. Let's see if we've got enough here. Take your pick. Oops. I think I'll just put 5, 1 in each corner. Sorry if I just bumped that camera then. And 1 in the middle. And just pop them off. Last one, tricky. And I'm just going to pop that there. Now I need to see whether that's straight. that straight? Nope, needs to go over just a smidge more. But I quite liked the way that those two labels complemented one another. Needs to go up a bit. It's a bit hard when you really can't put your whole head over the top. So let's just see if that's correct. Okay, that looks good to me. It's as good as it's going to get anyway today. So we've got that on there now. And that we're going to glue straight onto the card base, again with the liquid glue. Yeah, only because you can wiggle that around a bit. And I always put a bit on the back of the ribbon as well. Center that up on the card. Looks good. And now we have this beautiful bow. And that just needs a glue dot, I think. Yep, just a glue dot. Very, very, very sticky little glue dot. Get your bow the way you want it to go. Tuck any stray bits under. I hope I've been in camera all this time. And I think that's about center, is it? Looks good. Looks good to me. Maybe down a bit, actually. Maybe just down a little bit. And then just trim these little tails up a bit. And then we're done, except for our cute little butterfly. Now where's my take your pick tool? So you really can only see one little butterfly after all of that, but it doesn't matter because we can take a big one and actually place it over our little butterfly. You still can see his antennas. Be alright if I could see what I'm doing. There we go. And then we can put another two little ones, I think. I think we'll put, oh, where did he go? Oh, there he is. We might put one here. And we might put one up there. So we're a little bit above center. We've got our three little butterflies on there. And a beautiful accent colour in the evening evergreen. So side by side, the two cards, they're the same, but they're different. So I've used a different shape here. It's the smaller one underneath this one. I've stepped up the message so that it's now on dimensionals, and we've added some little embellishments instead of some die cuts. So there they go. And that didn't take very long at all. So as I say, go to my online store and you can see all of the products that I've used here today. You can watch the replay. You can watch this again on my business Facebook page. You can watch it on my YouTube channel, or yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this. I know everybody's limited with time, and I try to keep them short. And I thank you for your time today, and I hope you enjoyed those two little cards. And that is called casing. casing a card. So I've taken the basic card design from the catalogue and I've changed it up to suit the items that I have. And you can do that too. If you see a beautiful card in the catalogue or wherever, but you don't have that particular stamp set or those dies, improvise and use what you have. Get value for money out of your items. But there you go. That's 2 cards that use the same paper, and it is beautiful paper. So thanks so much for your time. I'll see you on the next video, and happy crafting, everybody. Bye.